Welcome to Pink Kink,
where we are ready to guide you through the wild and wonderful world of kink.
I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
Whether you are a baby kinkster, a seasoned pro, or just here for the entertainment, Pink Kink will help you level up your kink knowledge.
Join us as we share our own wild, sometimes awkward, but always entertaining experiences and spill the tea from our combined 30 plus years in the private and professional kink worlds.
So grab your favorite flogger or wand.
Thank you.
And buckle up. You'll learn, you'll laugh, and who knows, you might just spit out your coffee.
Let's get this kinky party started.
Want more Pink Kink in your life? Join our Patreon and get ready for a whole lot of kinky fun and exclusive perks.
As a patron, you'll unlock access to our private Discord server where you can connect with fellow kinksters and chat directly with us. You'll also score adorable Pink Kink stickers and enjoy a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast packed with juicy tidbits we don't share anywhere else. Plus, get sweet discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and on our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
But wait, there's more.
More?
Our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get extras, such as bonus content and free digital downloads. Oh, and let's not forget, the Pink Standard of patrons will be recognized as producers on both the podcast and on our website, because we couldn't do this without you.
Pink Kink runs on the love and support of our amazing patrons, so join the party today. Visit us at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast or click on the link on pinkkinkpodcast.com.
Today's episode is produced by our electrifying Pink Kinksters. Thank you, Jay, Witcherman, Brianna Lynn, Daddy J, Fabe, William P., Claire, Lady Blooding, Naughty and Nice, Butte Pain, Manda Panda, Kat, Stefan, Shadow Phoenix, Christopher, Brian, Ruby Riot, Enchanted Sparrow, The Wombat, Impact Hazard, Twitch, The Midnight Girl, Sinful, J21, Daisy If You Do, AK Harley Chick, Serenity, Belle, Eric, Lady Affliction, Pumpkin Pie, Ms. Tourmaline, S'more, Hacksaw,
Wee Mad Beastie, Devoted Night, 3 a.m. Thoughts, Crash Override, Iro, Kinky Bear, Spiper No Spiping, Barbie, Navigator Bard, Frost, Coffee and Chaos, Mr. Pillsbury, Peaches, Mighty Owl, Baby Squirrel, Lady and Lex, Chaos Monster, Jessa Lady, Ophelia, Drew, Birchbeard, Lady to Kitten, Cydia Lemon, Noir, Freddie Queen, Princess Ree, Miss Issiv, Godex Bunny, Elysium Rose, Avalia, Gloria, Nora Morapora, and Brix.
Dara, I wanted to do this episode specifically today because this is an episode that lends itself to ranting and raving. And I think you and I are both in a headspace where we want to be angry and rant and rave. So I think this is going to work out really well.
Oh, no, it's perfection this morning, because the first thing we did when we saw each other was, oh, my God, you know what's going on with me right now. Da, 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 da. List off the 10 things. I'm in pain. Yes, check. I have this injury. Yes, check. Welcome to my life. Welcome to my life. Done. Okay. It's
menopause, perimenopause.
Chronic illness and injury. Like, we're there. We're all of it right now. And it's funny because, you know, Rara is always talking about the menopause and, you know, the issues. And I'm like, hey, Rara, is this, and this? And I'm like, she goes, yep, welcome to your life. Welcome to my life. And then Rara goes, oh, and I'm always in pain because of this neck injury and it's making me cranky. I was like, yep, welcome to my life with the chronic injuries and pain part. Like, so now we have more in common.
So we have bonded over pain and menopause aches. And it's just lack of sleep. So what you're dealing with today is two very cranky podcasters.
Two very cranky middle-aged women who are just pissed off at everything.
So we're going to talk about a subject that's just going to allow us to embrace the anger and frustration and get ranty and ravey.
Do we need our angry eyes?
Oh, yes. So what? You've been warned? This is your trigger warning? I don't know how to phrase this. Content warning? So are you ready? Are your muscles all ready to rant and rave?
My muscles are ranty and ravey.
All right. So have you ever heard somebody, and this happens to me a lot, you hear these, I'm going to put DOMs in quotes, even though people can't see me use the quotation signs. Do you ever hear somebody say like they broke their submissive, or they want to break their submissive, like it's some type of badge of honor?
Yep, I have heard that.
Well, today we are going to rip that fucking bullshit apart.
Yes. I'm excited.
I hate when and it always tends to be like these alpha doms. I'm going to break my submissive.
Well, like, here's the thing. I don't understand why why that sounds good in the first place. Like, it sounds abusive.
Right? I'm going to break you. We're already starting with bad.
Right? Like, it sounds like, it almost sounds like physical, you know? Like, it sounds like you're planning to be an actual abuser. Like that, I don't understand how that sounds right.
Nope. And it promotes like abuse under the guise of BDSM, which is not okay. It's the whole mindset causes emotional damage. Emotional damage. I can't say that anymore without hearing that TikTok sound. Like the words emotional damage have been destroyed for me. It will always be that guy from TikTok saying it.
I know. I love how even when we talk about like the most serious shit, somehow some joke comes up and we're just like, yeah, we're going to run with it.
We have to. I still see it in books, in porn, some corners of the kink scene. Like I'll get messages from guys who reading already is difficult because my FetLife profile says dominant and they still send me messages how they want to dom me.
Oh, but you're a woman, so obviously you can't be dominant. You need to. Oh, and actually, even if they do read that, it's even more fun to break a dom.
Yeah. We're going to talk in this episode about why this is so incredibly harmful, why nobody should be using it, and also talk a little bit about what healthy dominance looks like instead. I know we've talked about it a lot, but just in case somebody's new and this is their first episode that they're listening to, we'll cover it.
Also, it's a different context. So like there's a little bit more finesse.
And we'll talk about, red flags and how to spot those and how to recover if you've had a situation with a dom who's tried to break you. So where did the whole origin, we'll get to the origin story of this concept, right?
Don't make it sound like it's some sort of Marvel superhero.
I'm sorry, the Thunderbolts are coming out soon, so I've been in a Marvel mindset.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it really started originally with horses, right? You hear a lot of people talk about, I'm going to break in my horse. And the
horse
goal,
breaker, yeah.
The goal was to, of course, eliminate resistance so that the animal's following commands without question and can wear their saddle and listen if they pull the reins left or right, the animal's going to go. And it was achieved through domination, fear on the animal's part, and just pure exhaustion. You've probably seen it like in movies or read it in books where the trainer just keeps working until the animal is tired and gives in.
Mm-hmm.
And the result of that is, of course, compliance, but it's at what cost? It's the cost of the spirit of the animal. It's kind of like sad. And the parallel within kink is that in kink, if you're using this, you're treating the submissive like a project rather than a person, a human being. And that's not cool. You'll also hear it a lot in the military, right?
Yes.
Right? They're breaking down the soldiers.
That. Mm-hmm.
And the reason that they're doing that is specifically to remove their civilian identity and to make their mindset all about being a soldier. They want to strip the soldiers of individuality to rebuild them into immediate obedient soldiers, right? Because it's a chain of command mindset where you don't question, you just obey.
Well, so I've heard the other side. Like, it sounds really bad when you say it like that. But at the same time, in a combat situation where somebody is like, you have to do this immediately or that person, or you're going to die. Like, if you question it, you could get your entire unit killed.
Exactly. That's perfect. That's exactly why it's okay in the military, but it's toxic when it comes to kink.
Absolutely. Not disagreeing with that. I just want to make sure that we're not saying that it's a bad thing in certain cases. That's an example of where it's actually kind of a good thing. However, in the situation we're talking about, no bueno.
And just a reminder, Dar and I have not been in the military. I personally don't do anything that could risk a broken nail. So I didn't join.
That's your reason?
That's my reason. Okay, you have to remember, back in the day when I was young enough to actually join the military, it was safe. It was before 9/11. It was before all the shit that's happening now. Most of the people I knew who went into the military went in for the what is it, the GI Bill, so they could get college paid for. And nobody was worried about going to war because we were in a very long period of time with no war.
Well,
so that's not necessarily the same for you, but that was the case for me.
I had been 18 for approximately 1 week for when 9/11 happened. So I've never been an adult without war.
Yeah, we had a very long period of time for me as an adult where we felt pretty damn safe. So anything we say about the military is just based upon research, not personal knowledge. And if we got it wrong, sorry.
Yeah, well, all the former soldiers on our Discord are going to be like, all right, look, but I think we got it right. So please don't yell at us.
I can only do so much, folks. I got to do research. And that's it.
Witcher man, we're sorry. We love you.
So why would this concept of breaking a submissive be appealing from a kink standpoint? Well, there are some toxic dominants who are very seduced by this fantasy of total and absolute control, of mindless obedience. They have this misguided belief that obedience somehow is equal to love or devotion. There's some internalized toxic masculinity, shocking, where strength is equal to silence and power, which is equal to submission by force. Blech. And then, of course, there's the lack of education where folks, because they haven't been properly educated, are mimicking what they see in movies and television and books. And they just don't know any better. But we are here to fix that. Should we put on our little superhero capes? We're here to save the day.
No capes. No capes.
I am sorry, you're right, Edna. No capes, that is not safe. How'd I do?
No.
I was pretty proud. I knew exactly what you were referring to.
Okay, the reference that you got, yes, great, fantastic. Love.
Thank
However, were you trying to imitate Edna?
No.
Okay, well then good job, rah. Pat.
Thank you. Just need a little praise kink to help offset my pain.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to have a Disney trivia and see what happens, so we can get you your pat praise kink.
Well, I don't know that I'll get them all, but that one I actually knew, so I'm pleased with myself.
Good job.
All right, so why is this mindset dangerous? What's the big deal if somebody says they want to break their submissive? Well, the biggest problem is it pretty much violates the core principles of kink. Right? Consent isn't just about saying yes. It's about being informed. It's about being enthusiastic. It's about having choices. It's about ongoing consent, right? While breaking, the quote unquote breaking relies on manipulation, not really negotiation. Because if they're coming up with this plan of how I'm going to break you, at what point did they sit down and negotiate this plan? And go, I'm going to do this. And then the submissive is going to consent and agree to things that take away their choice, that pretty much mentally and emotionally and psychologically and possibly physically break them down.
Okay, well, I'm sure there are submissives that want that, and that is part of some negotiations. But if it isn't, again, with the whole, no, that's not how this works. I love how BDSM is actually so inherently feminine, or not feminine, feministic.
Yeah.
Words help.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that
we did an episode on that. Remember, we did an episode on feminism and BDSM because the whole point is it's about choice. It's about every individual having autonomy and making their own choice. And if you want to choose to be submissive, You can. And if you want to choose to be dominant, you can. Feminism is just about we get to make the choice. Nobody makes the choice for us.
Right. Just having the ability to make that choice. That's it. All right. Anyway, no, I was just commenting on that because I thought that was like really cool.
No, I'm watching through the video, your little mind and the little wheels turning. And then it was like, whoa, wait a minute. I've had this thought.
Did you just call me a hamster?
Okay, so I'm going to move on now.
You see my face right now?
Yeah, I see you have no subtitles. I see your face.
She called me a hamster.
I'm going to give a little bit of a hot take here that may or may not kerfuffle with our listeners.
God.
If you are a submissive who believes you want to be broken, that you want that whole break me down and then build me up, I think you have a misunderstanding of this whole lifestyle. I think you have a misunderstanding of how this all should work. And I think you actually don't really want to be broken down and built up. I understand you want to be built up. I just don't think you have to be broken down to be built up. So that's my hot take. You may or may not agree with me, but that's how I feel. Maybe that's just the caregiver in me, the mama bear dominant in me. I don't think you have to be broken down to be built up.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, you can send all your hate mail to me. It's fine. I'm cranky. I'll probably respond accordingly. So I'm just letting you know.
You know, you have been trying to start a kerfuffle for the better part of a week.
Yes, because I'm angry and nobody will kerfuffle with me.
The kerfuffle is losing her potency.
No, it's somebody legalized kerfuffling and now other people are kerfuffling and so they won't kerfuffle with me. I just want to kerfuffle. I want to angry.
Wait. What? Oh, somebody legalized kerfuffling?
Well, there were other people I was privy to watching. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so totally digress. There were two, I hate to say this, cishet white men kerfuffling with each other on FET, and I just sat with my bowl of popcorn and watched as each one was arguing with the other because they were the ones who were right. They were the ones who knew better. And it was just fun to watch them argue.
Okay.
But I wanted to kerfuffle too. And nobody, so I posted something. And the goddamn bastards all agreed with me. Nobody would kerfuffle with me.
Oh no, it's like the shit that you say is actually resonating with people and they think you're right.
So I can't kerfuffle.
Oh no.
That made me sad.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right, so let's talk
Poor
about...
dear.
I'm going to give you some reasons behind my thought process. All right? Why is it not good for a submissive to be quote unquote broken? Well, because DS should amplify who the submissive is, not erase them. And if you're breaking them down, you're basically erasing who they are so that they can be built up like as a Stepford submissive in exactly the way you want. And that just takes away their individuality, their uniqueness, what makes them special. Breaking basically says who you are right now is not good enough. So let me remake you. Let me fix you and put you into the image of what I think is the perfect kind of a submissive. You laughing at me?
I am a little bit. I mean, no, it's more like I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the concept of let me break you down and reform you into the perfect kind of submissive. Like that whole sentence is so problematic that I'm just kind of like, what the fuck?
But there are people who believe it, which is a sad part. And
right, I know.
And the problem with all of this is you're going to end up with a submissive who's got a loss of personal agency, identity confusion, and potentially disassociation because they're like, this is who I am, but that's who I'm supposed to be. And then if they try to be something and someone that's not really natural for them and organic for them, it gets messed up. Another reason this is a problem is because it ends up prioritizing power over partnership. And as we keep saying, DS is a partnership. I don't believe that one is more important than the other, one is greater than the other, one is over the other. To me, they are just two sides of the same coin. With, are you ready for my SAT word? With the symbiotic relationship, because you need one. You're supposed to be getting
not saying a word.
You're supposed to be getting angry, not laughing.
It's a little hard not to laugh when you call it an SAT word, though. Because, okay, here's angry face.
That's not helping.
I'm trying.
Oh my God, she's snorting. Not good.
Hold on.
No, you've given up. Never mind.
I tried so hard, Robert. I'm trying for you, but when you say I'm going to use my big SAT words, it kind of breaks the mood.
Sorry.
Oh, I need a tissue.
All right, I'll go back.
Should I warn everybody now again, like I did that last week?
Yeah, well, you can let everybody know. This is I don't even know how to describe this episode so far.
It's a not angry episode.
Tell them it's very interesting.
Oh, yeah. No, they'll believe that because everything is interesting, apparently, to me. Oh, God.
All right. So,
also,
yeah.
No, never mind. Go, continue.
Sure, okay. And we're off.
Shit.
This is supposed to be angry. This is my ranting and raving episode, not my laughing episode.
Sorry? Girl, you picked the wrong person to do this podcast with then, okay? I am sorry. But you knew when we met what was going to happen.
Yeah, I knew what I was getting into. I had informed consent. I knew.
This is not my fault.
No. All right. I'm going to not look at you, and then I'm going to try to continue and no eye contact and see if that helps.
I'm going to put myself on mute.
God. But that's not going to work. You can keep yourself off of mute, but just the camera needs to go so that I can't see the subtitles.
Okay.
The problem is the subtitles.
I don't know what you want from me. This is so much worse than if we were actually in the same room. What the fuck?
I don't know. All right, ready?
We're never going to get through this episode.
I'm trying. So true dominance is really about leadership, not destruction. And when you're breaking a submissive, you're removing their voice, which is going to make it almost impossible for any real trust to grow between the two of you. And let's face it, relationships that are built on fear are going to fall apart. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm afraid of something, eventually that fear tends to turn to anger. Because I am getting really angry. Dar, stop it. God, I wish this was on video so you guys could see these faces. I mean, not what we look like, because we look like two drowned rats right now.
I'm a hamster. What are you talking about?
Sorry, a drowned hamster. But she's really not helping. I'm going to just not look. Here we go. Try that.
That's not going to work.
This is serious. Very serious stuff.
Okay. Yeah, but putting up a partition is not going to save you. I'm just going to let you know.
I figured that.
Okay. Fuck this shit. Okay.
When I'm afraid of something, the fear turns to anger. Because then I get really angry at something or usually someone that is trying to make me afraid of them. And this happened in my first marriage. I got so fucking angry that he had put me in this position of being afraid of him. Like, how dare he? The nerve. And obviously that relationship fell apart because of it. And so you cannot build a relationship on fear. If you are dealing with a trauma survivor, it's just even worse, right? Some submissives enter kink specifically to reclaim power, not to lose it again. And being quote unquote broken can trigger past abuse, create new trauma, and basically reinforce some really toxic relationship patterns. And I'm talking to the submissives who call themselves broken. I don't like when people refer to themselves as broken, because when things are broken, they often cannot be put back together. Sometimes things are broken and you have to throw them away because they're done. And I don't think that's how humans should be treated or thought of or think of themselves. If you want to think, maybe you're bent, right? A strong wind came through and it caused you to bend. There might be a crack, but that crack can heal. But when you refer to yourself as broken, I think you do yourself a grave disservice. And I don't want anybody to do that.
All I can think of right now is Lilo and Stitch, when Stitch says that his family is small and broken, but, Ohana, nobody gets left behind. And I'm just like...
Yeah, I was waiting for you to do it in their voices, but okay.
Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind.
Thank you. That's much better.
It's actually not as good, and my Stitch is usually way better, but I have a really bad cold right now.
I'm sorry.
So it's coming off snotty rather than stitchy.
That makes sense. Sort of. This whole concept of breaking a submissive is also really damaging to the kink community because it normalizes abuse and yet labels it kink. We already have a hard enough time getting people to understand that what we do is not abuse. And then people come in and do this shit, and people on the outside are looking at it going, see, we told you what you guys are doing is abuse. It also makes it very harder for submissives to speak up, which is never okay. I had this discussion with somebody the other day about, my word of the year, empowerment, that one of my major goals is to help submissives feel empowered to speak up and be able to say no, or I don't like that, or I know this is really crazy. I want this. I need this. And when you are setting the DS up such that you're trying to break them, then you are making it much harder for a submissive to feel comfortable and safe in speaking up. And it ends up causing some really long-term distrust between new kinksters and the more experienced ones. Because what I know for me, when I see or hear submissives or dominants talking about this concept of breaking them, it makes me automatically want to put up a wall. Because unless I feel like I can talk to them and change their mind, I want nothing to do with them. And I would like them not to be a part of my community. I'd like them not to take that message and put it out into the world so that other people misunderstand kink. And it really just causes a lot of issues between us.
It's so damaging. Just that entire thought process is so damaging to the community as a whole.
So what should healthy dominance look like, actually? Well, good dominants don't break people. They build with them. And as I said, I've always felt that way as a caretaker, as a mama bear dominant. But I feel that even in the strictest of high protocol master-slave dynamics, a good dominant should be building up their submissive and helping them be the best them they can be, right? Respect is at the absolute foundation of your relationship. Your goal should be to help your submissive grow and learn and thrive. And Dia should really amplify strengths. I personally, and Dara, you tend to do your dynamics differently, so you might disagree with me. I hate the word obedience when it comes to DS relationships. I really do. To me, my pets are obedient. People, and I'm not talking about not having rules. Like, I agree, have rules. Have rules. If you negotiate, consent to them, have rules, and the submissive should follow them. But that word obedient, it's like nails on chalkboard for me. I think of, right, like the teachers who in the schools who are like, you must be obedient or I'm going to take this ruler and hit you with this ruler. Or, the cops who are like, you have to be obedient. And I just don't like it when it comes to the discussion of DS dynamics. What are your thoughts?
Any relationship.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, it depends. So way back in the day, I was all about that, but I also had subs who were all about that. We did the high protocol. Like, if I say position 2, you better fucking know what that is. But that was a long time ago. That was straight up 20 years ago. So I'm a lot more chill now. And honestly, someone who is just obedient to everything is kind of boring to me.
Well, for me, it's the word obedient. It's not the concept. Like, I like the concept that we have a rule and you have to follow the rule. I like the concept that we have established certain positions, and when I call out that position, you get into it. That's not what bothers me. It's the word itself, obedient.
There's a reason it was stricken from marriage vows.
Yeah. To me, obedient is blind obedience, even though we don't necessarily use the word blind. It's, I do something and you just do it without asking questions, without asking the whys, right? Like when you said to your submission position 2 and they got into it, it wasn't blind obedience. You had discussed it. They had consented to it. They took the time to learn it. It wasn't this just blind obedience. I just do what she says.
It was actually a bit of a pride thing, though, because they did work very, very hard to learn them for me. So that part was that was nice. That's why I liked it. But now, I don't know.
And to me, obedience is also, you do things because of fear, right? Like the child who is obedient because they're worried they're going to get spanked. The submissive who is obedient because they're worried that they might lose their dominance, love and attention and care if they don't do it. Versus what you've described is they did it because because it made you happy and they wanted you to be happy. There was no fear involved in it. They weren't afraid of you. Just the opposite. They loved you and wanted to do it for you to make you happy.
Actually, I still keep it. That was the one who I wrote about as my Genesis, the first person that I played with. So I'm wondering if he still remembers the positions.
But something about the word obedience to me is just, you're obedient because you're afraid. And I don't ever want my submissive to be afraid. I've had, people have talked about the fact that they love when they can make the submissive do what they want them to do. And because I'm in another Discord server and it's a lot of newer folks with a lot of long distance dynamics and people who don't necessarily kink at dungeons and stuff. It's very like within the confines of their house, or as I said, a lot of his long distance. And a lot of them are like, how do I make my submissive do this?
You don't.
And people are giving, well, you set up punishments, you do this. And I was like, I don't ever want to make my submissive do anything. I want them to want to do it because it makes me happy and they want me to be happy.
What'd they say to that?
Some of them are like, yeah, that's cool. But I'm educating this group is very slow. It's a lot of times they're asking, well, what punishment should I use? And I'm big on reminding them, you can't just like pick a punishment out of thin air, folks. You have to sit down and negotiate. If you break rule A, your punishment will be this. Or here's a list of 10 punishments that I'm okay with. And I consent to any one of these 10. And then the dominant can pick and choose which of the list they'll use if a rule is broken.
Well, you can also do like, okay, so here's the punishments that I'll accept for this. But if I do this, then this is not an appropriate punishment. It just doesn't work.
So, yeah, I don't like this idea of make your submissive do something or your submissive being obedient. I believe, because again, it might be DS, but it's still a relationship. You do things to make the other person happy. And the Dom does things because it makes the submissive happy. The submissive does things because it makes the Dom happy. Ultimately, submission is a strength. We all talk about the fact that, submissives aren't weak. It takes a lot of strength to be a submissive, to transfer your authority to somebody else, to give up control. It's not why it's why I only cosplayed a submissive. I'm not good at giving up control. Right? And subs are never less than. it really grinds my gears when people refer to the dominance as somehow more or better and the submissives less. Choosing to submit takes real courage and vulnerability and self-awareness. And good dominants recognize that and understand what a beautiful gift that is to have somebody trust you enough to be that vulnerable with you, to allow you to have control over them. And they should embrace it and appreciate it, not try to punish it or twist it so it's exactly the way they want.
Or remove it.
Right? There's the whole concept of training. We hear this a lot, training the submissive. I understand the concept. I don't like the term training, but I understand the concept. And the reason I don't like the term training is mostly because you will have those toxic dominants who will twist it and turn it and make it not a good thing. But if you are going to quote unquote train, it needs to be done right. And you can do it through collaborative goal setting rituals and routines that build emotional safety, right? Like I talk about this all the time. When I set up rules and tasks for my submissive, it is done based upon the goals that they want to achieve.
Well, like I actually trained my own daddy, so I always say that.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted. I found somebody who didn't know but was willing to learn, and basically just said, okay, here's what I want. This is how I want it. Let's go.
And
success.
It was done consensually. You sat down and you talked about it, and he consented to everything.
For months. This took months and months of continuous doing stuff, check-ins, negotiations, discussing it, reflecting. I mean, we put in the work. When I do set up rules and tasks, are some of them for me? Yes. Certain ones, like I want my good morning texts. I want to know if you're driving someplace, you've arrived safely. But I do that with my friends. Like when Naughty and I go out to the dungeon and we come home and we're back at my house at 2 a.m., she has another hour drive home to her house. And every time as we're saying goodbye, my last words to her are always, text me when you get home safe. Now, I don't know if this is the Jewish mother in me or if this is just the mother in me, but I do this to everybody. Text me when you get home so I know you are safe. Those are the type of rules that I do put in for my submissive that are for me, because I like to know you're safe. I like to know you've made it home. But pretty much the vast majority of the rules are based upon what goals do you want to accomplish? Where do you want to be? And how can I help you get there? Training needs to encourage communication and feedback. You can't just do it and then they're stuck with it. If it's not working, they need to be able to give you that feedback, that communication to say, hey, this isn't quite working the way we thought it would work. And then you need to have the flexibility to change that, to adjust it however you need it to be so that it works for both you and your submissive. Because again, you're a team. You're both on the team together. You should not be fighting against one another. Good dominance, a healthy dominance also provides emotional safety for the submissive, right? And that emotional safety is going to create even hotter scenes between the two of you. We talk about it like right from just a sex standpoint. When you love somebody, when you care for somebody, when you trust somebody, the sex is just better. Oh, yeah.
Right? And
no doubt about that.
And an empowered sub will feel comfortable and confident enough to play harder and go deeper and give more because they trust you to take care of them. The trust allows them to be even more vulnerable. The hottest scenes are based on trust, not trauma. So let's talk about red flags, because we have some, and how to also recover if you've been in a situation with somebody who tried to break you. So some of the signs that you want to look for is, first of all, the obvious. They specifically say to you, I want to break you.
Do they say that often, though? Like, is that something that you can... I know it's a pretty obvious one, but like how often does the obvious happen?
I've seen it often enough that there are some who are that obvious. I've seen some people put it in their bios when they describe themselves as a dominant. They feel
That's true.
They feel fucking confident that breaking their submissive is the right way to go. So the minute you hear that word break, I mean, you could either run away and say, fuck you, or you could stop and ask them questions and say, hey, what does that mean to you? What does that look like? And maybe they're using the word break, but the methodology that they use is not a harmful one. It follows that healthy dominance we just talked about.
I can 100% see you finding somebody's profile on FET that says they're going to break the sub and then start like a kerfuffle with them.
Ooh. Okay, I'll do that when we're done recording.
Shit.
No, I mean, lately my kerfuffles are happening mostly on Threads. So if you don't follow me on Threads, you really should. It's fun. It's
entertaining as shit.
It's Pink Kink Podcast. That's where we are there. Pink Kink Podcast on Instagram. It's only TikTok where we're different, and that's where we're Pink Kink Podcast 2.0. Though honestly, I haven't posted anything on TikTok since my whole shoulder injury. Well, I keep saying shoulder. Technically, guys, I have some compressed vertebrae in my neck, which is causing a pinched nerve, and the pinched nerve is causing me pain in my left arm shoulder all the way down to my 2 little fingers. And it's very frustrating because I'm supposed to demo top for Impact next week, and I don't think I'll be able to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay. I should still be able to do needles. So I'll just do a whole night
just
of
needles.
Yeah, I'll just do a whole night of needles. But I haven't kinked since it's been almost a month since I've kinked.
Well, you must be jonesing.
No, because I'm getting my pain from elsewhere. My masochist is really being tested these days.
Wow.
And I've just been focusing on teaching. So I've been able to do that. So what are some of the other less obvious signs that somebody wants to quote unquote break you? Well, maybe they're bragging about how in the past they've tamed past partners. And that word tamed gets thrown a lot with brats, right? You hear the brat tamer. And this is why I don't like the idea of being of brat tamers, because ultimately what they're trying to do is trying to break the brat of their bratting habits. And if they're trying to break you of your bratting habits, then what it really translates to is they don't want to work with a brat. And that is valid. And they are okay to have that boundary of not wanting to have a brat for a partner. Then guess what? Don't have a brat for a partner. Don't be with a brat, but don't take a brat on and then say, I'm going to try to tame you.
Yeah, agreed. Especially like, it's kind of funny because I always used to say like, I really hate brats and I don't want to work with brats. And I never wanted to be a brat tamer. I never wanted to have anything to do with it. And then lo and behold, am brat.
And you work with one all the time. Hi.
Yeah. But so the difference is my concept of brat was always the make me. There's a difference. You're just annoying.
Well, I'm your sister. That's what happens.
Basically, yeah.
Sisters are annoying. If you do want to know more about my whole thoughts on bratting and bratting beyond Make Me, you can go to I have to do more selling. I haven't done that in a while. You can go onto our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and you can purchase our video on demand of my bratting class. So check that out. Links in the show notes. So
that was a really bad salesperson voice, just so you know.
I know, because I'm not feeling 100%, so it's hard for me to put on my sales pitch.
You're very out of practice with that.
I'm sorry.
If you'd like to know more about the bratting and Ravra's opinion of bratting, you can go on to our Etsy store, Pink Kink Boutique. And yeah, wow, I even named it and I got that fucked up.
But yeah, in the class, you'll get to hear a rather lengthy, detailed description of why I hate the term brat tamer. Some of the other things that somebody might say are things like, I'll teach you your place. Now, I do have to admit, I am looking at all of this through the lens of a dominant. And if anybody tried to say that to me, I'd either laugh hysterically or smack them. Just depends on my mood. Right now, smack. Or, both. We are all about the and. I will laugh and smack. Oh, that's good. Okay.
¿Por qué no los dos?
But for some people, I understand you might like that. I'll teach you your place. I would take a minute and kind of self-reflect on what about it is that you like, and if maybe there's better, nicer ways to say it. If you have a dominant who's trying to isolate you from your friends or mentors or the community, that is definitely a red flag. One of the things that I warn people about too is when you're talking to somebody and they tell you they're not involved with their local community because of all the people in it, that the other people are problematic. I'm going to take a wild and wacky guess that they're probably the problematic one and they were pushed out of the community. Very rarely is it truly that an entire community is the problem and this one individual person is the poor victim.
Oh, but it happens all the time, rah-rah. They did nothing wrong several times for the past 10 years, and it's just the whole entire community is against them, and just that one time, and now everybody is against them, but it happened, every 6 months or so.
That's definitely a huge whop. We need the guy from TikTok, the red flag guy, as he runs across the screen. If you have somebody who's trying to ignore or ridicule your limits, or even just try to talk you out of them, that's a huge red flag. If you're like, well, this is my limit, and they start saying, really, are you sure you want to have that as a limit? Because that's my favorite thing to do. And then they start to manipulate you into thinking, well, they won't be with you if you have that limit, as a way to talk you out of it.
Right. And then my answer to that is, bye.
Yes. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Or, do.
Yeah. If they're punishing boundaries or questioning the boundaries that you set, and by questioning, I don't mean question in the sense of, can you explain it to me better so I don't cross that boundary? I'm talking about questioning why you would have that as a boundary. Do you think it's necessary to have that as a boundary? What can we do to convince you not to have that as a boundary?
Oh my God.
Yeah. One of the things that I do see a lot in fiction, I don't see it as much in person, or maybe it's just because I hang out with the right people who know better, but I see it a lot in fiction, is that this idea of the dom pushing your boundaries. And my thoughts on that are very simple. If you want your boundary pushed, go for it. Ask your dominant to push them. It should never be the dominant's idea to push your boundaries. It has to be yours. You have to consent to it. It isn't just the dominant going, hey, let's push your boundaries. If they are expecting obedience before they've even earned your trust, that is a huge red flag. And again, if I have anybody even bring up that word obedient or any variation of it, that for me personally is a red flag. I understand it may not be for you, but it is something to consider. When they say they're looking for somebody who's obedient, what does that mean? If their idea of obedience is just, I want you to follow the rules we set, then yeah, that's not a big deal. Pretty much most doms want you to follow whatever rules are set. But it's when they take that obedience and make it more of blind obedience. I want you to just do what I tell you to do, when I tell you to do it, the way I tell you to do it. That becomes concerning.
What if there's a sub that wants to be completely blind obedient to you and they offer that?
Then they're not the right submissive for me. And I thank them, but no. I need somebody who sometimes will tell me to get over it. But they're going to have to be very gentle and figure out the right way to do it that doesn't cause me to go ballistic. But it can be done without patting the top of my head going there. So just
no, that's mine. That's what I do. Yeah. Forget it. Nobody else can have that.
So if you have been in a dynamic where somebody tried to break you and now you feel broken because of it, you are not. You are not ruined. You are not weak. You were just manipulated, and it's not your fault. Some of these toxic doms are master manipulators, and they have perfected their manipulation skills. And you're just, unfortunately, one of the latest in their victims. So how can you reclaim your power at this point? Well, reconnect with your kink community. I am betting you will find others in the community who have been abused by that particular person. I have an entire collection of Voldemort's exes. We've all become friends now. Use journaling or creative play to rediscover your voice. Find partners who celebrate your agency, not threaten it. And if you have to, if it is bad enough, talk to kink-aware therapists or trauma-informed educators. They're out there and they will help you. So what do I want you to ultimately take away from this episode? First of all, breaking has no place in ethical kink as far as I'm concerned. Submission is not obedience. It's a choice. You choose to follow the rules. You choose to give your power. You choose to transfer the authority, right? Dominance should guide, not crush. Lead, not force. So if somebody has come out and said that being broken was about love and care, they're lying to you, and you deserve so much better than that. There is absolute strength in softness, right? It's interesting. If you go back to, let's use a tree analogy, and a hurricane comes through, sometimes the smaller, what seems like the weaker trees survive the storms better because they're able to bend with the wind, while the big tall ones who are stiff end up being broken because they can't withstand it.
Well, actually, if you want to go further, that's actually why the people who were goddamn wasted drunk in a car and they get into a car accident survive, and the ones who aren't drunk don't, because they stiffen up when they see it coming and their bodies end up getting more broken, and then the drunk person is like blah, 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 and bends with it and is just like fine.
There's strength in that softness. And I don't think people recognize it enough. They see softness and they think weakness, and it's just the actual opposite. There is power in a submissive who has chosen to kneel at your feet. There's more power in the submissive who's chosen to kneel at your feet than the submissive who is forced to kneel or is kneeling out of fear. I'd love it if you guys would take some time and just kind of stop and reflect on your own dynamics, current ones, past ones, and see if there's anything in those dynamic that you recognize from here, the good or the bad. And sit down with your partner and talk about it and see if there's things that maybe you can change. If this was past dynamics, journal and write down, what have I learned? What were maybe some red flags that I missed that now I know to look for next time so I can avoid it? My running joke is it's not that I don't make mistakes. I just don't make the same mistakes because I learned from my past ones. And I find new ones to make because there's always new mistakes to make. But remember, ultimately, we are people. We are not wild horses. We're not soldiers. And we're sure as hell not here to be broken and blindly obedient. It's about the connection between the people involved. So let's do better and let's be better.
Hear, hear.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a minute of our fun and educational content. New episodes drop every Friday.
If you love what we do and want to help us keep creating, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. You can also support our affiliates to benefit small businesses and us at the same time.
No extra cash? No problem. You can still help by spreading the word about your favorite kinky podcast. Share us with your friends, and don't forget to rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Those 5-star reviews mean the world to us. And those 5-star reviews go a long way in boosting our podcast through the algorithm and reaching more listeners.
Sign up for our Pink Kink Institute classes. Shop at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique. Stay connected with us on social media. You'll find all the links on our link tree posted in the show notes.
Your support means the world to us. So until next time, stay pink
and level up your kink knowledge.